You can't be serious. What exactly does it take to be a serious writer? Well, I don't think it has anything to do with how long you've been writing or whether you're published or even the quality of the work that you're producing. What truly separates the amateurs from the serious writers is their approach and mindset. It's how you go about the business of writing, not just what you get out of it. If you approach writing seriously, then it doesn't matter if you started yesterday or 20 years ago. Doesn't matter if you're producing publishable grade work or you're still working on your first novel. Serious writers are defined by what they do, not what they've done or what they get out of the work. So let's talk about the habits and mindset that separate a serious writer from a non-serious one. Speaking of serious things, you should seriously consider subscribing to my channel. I seriously think it's good. All right, the first thing that serious writers do is they frame their work in seasons. What you do in the run of a day is really important. Daily writing sessions and daily goals can be a big help. But focusing too much on the short term is often damaging in the long term. One thing that someone who's serious about writing can do is wait. They understand that the payoff for their effort might be months or years down the road. If you're focused on the longer term, if you're looking at where you want to be in the future, then that's a sign that you've adopted a serious mindset about your writing. You are seeing it as a lifelong pursuit, not just something that you're doing today because you felt like doing it or you were motivated to work on it. You also recognize that there are ups and downs. Some periods may be very productive, others less so. Serious writers recognize that they will go through phases of growth, followed by times of stagnation. There may also be times where you need to pull back from your writing efforts, either because you need a longer break or because there are other things happening in your life. All of this is done with intention as part of a longer term view, not just on day-to-day whims. When somebody who's serious takes a break from writing, it's because that break will improve their process overall, not just because they feel like taking a break on that day. Next up, the second thing that serious writers do is they focus on developing ideas rather than finding ideas. Beginners often get fixated on ideas, generally finding ideas. They don't write because they haven't found the best idea for a novel. They try to get validation for their ideas before starting their novel, or they keep leaping between ideas, either never finishing one idea or never really going deep on any idea. But it's going into the depths of an idea where the magic really happens. For me personally, I found at a certain point I stopped leaping between ideas and I stopped generating a ton of new ideas for different novels. And instead, I started focusing on the specific idea that I had. And this is the point where it became easier to do multiple drafts of the same novel because I was more focused on working with that idea and exploring that one idea than I was about moving on to the shiny new object that I had just come up with. There's always more to explore about an idea, and when you start to explore it, you really discover what it was on a deeper level that initially attracted you to that idea in the first place. Serious writers don't focus on coming up with the best idea, but instead focus on getting the best out of an idea. Next up, the third thing that serious writers do is they consider themselves the product of the work, not the work itself. The work you produce is important, but it pales in comparison to the creator behind that work. It's one of the reasons that I think AI won't really replace authors. I think part of the awe associated with a good novel is the fact that it came from a human being and was produced in spite of the inherent limitations of the human organism. Kind of like the limitation of having a cat blocking your shot. People will watch a strong man lift up a giant boulder and we celebrate that fact, but if you see a bulldozer move the same boulder, it's not as impressive because that bulldozer isn't limited in the same way that the human is. When a human writes an amazingly gripping story, we are impressed because a human is an inherently limited being and had to expend tremendous effort in order to do that. If an AI does it, it's less impressive because a computer is able to process 10 quadrillion pieces of information every second, so of course it can write a novel. Serious writers recognize that the frail, imperfect organism behind the work is what's important. Their focus is on squeezing as much out of that imperfect bag of meat as humanly possible. And lastly, the fourth thing that serious writers do, they invest in their improvement. Now, when you hear invest, you might immediately think money, and while that can be a factor, there are two other far more important things that serious writers invest into their process: their time and their energy. Two things that you have a finite supply of, and two things you need to spend if you're going to improve as a writer. Serious writers recognize that a day you don't write is a day you don't get back, and you have a finite supply of days. Energy is another thing that can be easily wasted. If you spend a lot of your day getting angry about things you see on your phone or on the internet, that's energy that's not going into your writing. Serious writers put guardrails around both of these things. They set expectations for themselves and others to ensure that time and energy are available to them to put into their writing. They cut out the activities from their lives that are a drain on their energy or their time. This is how busy people with kids and jobs and school and all sorts of commitments are still able to write. A hectic schedule is only hectic if it isn't managed, and there are people who are able to manage it. You will be assaulted every day by highly engineered content that is designed to steal your time or zap your energy. And if you want to get serious about your writing, you need to guard your time like it's gold bullion. Not everything that you spend your time or energy on needs to be writing itself. Reading or other relaxing activities can be beneficial because they put you in a better position to write and potentially improve your writing. When you procrastinate or give in to the doom scrolling, what you're really saying is, I value this more than my writing. People who push past that, the serious writers, value their writing more and so put their time and energy into it. Just like I'm glad you put your time and energy into this video. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video and found the advice in it useful. If you want to see more stuff like this, please check out all my other writing advice related videos and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.